Hey everyone, French Tutor here. Today I'm going to show you how to farm for Phoebe's echoes efficiently. The way to farm her echoes kind of changed in patch 2.1, so I want to show you all the new updates. Especially in the Riccioli Islands where you can actually farm for the best echo in the game. Alright, let's get started. For Phoebe, we're going to farm the Eternal Radiance set. In patch 2.1 we got 3 new echoes. We got the Rage Against the Statue, Golden Junrock, and Arrow Prism. So I'm going to start off the video with farming these echoes first because I would like to farm these in a set. I wouldn't farm these individually because they're all kind of like spread apart. And actually for the cost 1 echoes, there's not that many of them. But this Rage Against the Statue is actually a really good echo. So Riccioli Islands is a new region north of Ragunna City. And to unlock this area, you just have to start the new event Old Man and the Whale. You'll first have access to these 4 islands. Well, technically for this one, you would fly over from this island, this place right here called Silver Moon Grove. You would fly over here. I don't think they let you go here like right from the beginning unless you like start unlocking things from the quest. But anyways, your main farming route is going to be these 3 islands actually right here. And after doing a lot of the quests, you can unlock the final island called Ray's Ruins. They have a good amount of echoes, and it's the only island that has the Golden Junrocks. In the beginning, you can get away with just farming in these main 3 islands here. Most of the echoes are going to be here. But, eventually you want to unlock this final island. Because, there's also the tacit field for Phoebe's echoes and also Brant's echoes, the tie-breaking courage. So, if this is like 2 sets you need, you might need to unlock this island pretty soon. The first echo I want to talk about is Rage Against the Statue, the new 3-cost echo. Hands down, this is the best echo to farm in the whole game. First of all, it drops only 1 Sonata set, which is the Eternal Radiance set. The only other echo that's like that is the Light Crusher. But the differences are these are actually much easier to defeat, and there's a bunch of them in a certain island later. So like if you can farm these like every day, it would be pretty efficient for 3-cost echo farming actually. Higher chance of getting spectral damage, and these guys are not too tough. They are a little tanky, and sometimes their attacks can be a little bit confusing. Like for example, they can trip over and then they'll do a lot of damage on you. Or sometimes I believe they could even parry, well not parry your attacks, but kind of block your attacks. Like similar the way like Scar does it, like when you're trying to attack him, he kind of parries your attack. Other than that, their attacks are similar to the Stonewall Bracer. Like if I had to farm like 1 3-cost echo every day, it would be this one. Next up, we have the new 1-cost echo Arrow Prism. So they dropped the Eternal Radiance and the Tie-Breaking Courage set. Surprisingly, no arrow set at all. There's not that many of them, and they're pretty easy to kill. So like when you're farming your Rage Against the Statues, like I would just, farm these as well since they're there. So if you're farming for Brant, this would be a good echo to farm as well for the Tie-Breaking Courage set. Overall, good echo to farm in the islands. Next up is the Golden Junrock. They dropped the Eternal Radiance set and the Frosty Resolve set for Carlotta. So there's only 9 of them, and they're in the final island that you need to unlock. So pretty straightforward, they're pretty easy to defeat, and then like if you're farming for echoes for Carlotta as well, this would be pretty efficient. So first, you definitely want to farm for these echoes in Drake's Island. You're going to find a bunch of Rage Against the Statues, and also Arrow Prism, there's about just 3 of them on the bottom right. Next, head over to Helm Village and Serene Bay. You're going to find some Rage Against the Statues and just 3 Arrow Prisms once again. So without farming the final island, like this could be just enough for you, except for 1-cost echoes. But once you unlock the final island, you're going to have a good mix of the Rage Against the Statues, the Arrow Prisms, and also the Golden Junrocks. So honestly, if I was a little lazy for my echo farming, I would just do this every day, just farm these islands. Okay, now for 1-cost echoes outside of the islands, Fae Ignis is the best echo for Phoebe hands down. There's just a bunch of them, and they're very easy to defeat. It drops the Midnight Veil set, so maybe it might not be super useful right now if you don't have Rochia, but this echo is very efficient to farm for, because they usually come in groups of 3 or 4, and they're pretty much like clumped up in one location. But like once you like find a group, they are a little spread apart because they use range attacks, which could be a little annoying. But other than that, they're very easy to defeat. They're very squishy, so they're pretty easy to get echoes. So most of them, you're going to find them in Penitent's End and on the peninsula on the bottom right. If you want to farm for them a little more, they're also in the Hollowed Reach area. For 3 cost echoes, I would say Retrium Dancer is the standard echo you can farm for. There's just a lot of them, but they are pretty scattered out in the region, so it might not be so easy to farm for them. So they also drop the Imperium Anthem set for coordinated attacks if you need them. They usually come in groups of 2 and 3, but the problem is they kind of go all over the place. They kind of like, just like the knights, the night echoes, they're kind of always like always like moving around and attacking too much. So yeah, that's like the only downside. They could be a little annoying to fight. But yeah, there's just a lot of them in the overworld. Personally, I like to farm them near the Sentry Construct, like right in the middle here. I would teleport to the Resonance Nexus right there in the middle, start from the top and just work your way to the bottom. And then I would go to the top right where the peninsula is, and there's a good amount of these Retrium Dancers there as well. Then I would say go to the Garden of Lost and make sure that you are above the map, because like if you actually go here, you might be at the bottom. So make sure you're just at the top and then you can farm all of these there. Lastly, if you really want to farm for more 3 cost echoes, like there are like a bunch of these on the southeast of the map where the Alvarado Vault is. But I think they're spread apart too much, but like if you still want to just farm for every echo, like here's a map for it. Next, let's talk about Dearness Knights. They also dropped the tie-breaking courage set, so this would be a good echo to farm for Brant as well. The special thing about them is that they are a guaranteed echo drop. So yeah, it's pretty good to farm for these every day too. Like there's not that many of them, but a good amount. They are a bit tanky and they are very all over the place, but still a guaranteed echo, that's pretty helpful. So you're going to find some of them in the Hollowed Reach and the peninsula on the top right. Another very good spot for them is in the Silver Moon Grove. For some reason, I can't track them here from the databank, so I guess it's a kind of hidden place maybe. I don't know. It might be a bug. But yeah, you could fight 3 here. And finally, by the Alvarado Vault, you'll fight 4 of them here. It's a little more of a hassle to farm for them here because some are elevated and some are like really like on the ground floor. So you do have to like teleport multiple times just to farm for them. And for the 4 cost echo, you want to farm the Nightmare Morning IX. And it's going to be near by the Alvarado Vault. Okay, and the reason why I didn't mention any other echoes, it's usually because they're clumped up with other echoes and it's not really efficient to get Phoebe's echoes. Like some echoes would drop Phoebe's echoes, but there's a lot more of other echoes that drop other sets. So the first honorable mention is Abyssal Mercator, a 3 cost echo. They drop both the Eternal Radiance and the Frosty Resolve set. But they're usually accompanied by Abyssal Gladiuses and the Abyssal Patriciuses. Gladius will drop Tide-Breaking Courage and Midnight Veil, and they're usually very close to the Mercator. But if you can, near them will be the Abyssal Patricius, so they drop the Frosty Resolve and the Empyrean Anthem set. So here's a map of all 3 of them. Your main goal is to farm for Mercator, which wears a white hat like Phoebe. Lastly, you can farm Diggy Duggies. They also drop the Tie-Breaking Courage set, so that could be helpful if you're farming for Brant. But usually they're accompanied by a bunch of other echoes, which benefit Carlotta's Frosty Resolve set. So here's a map for all the Diggy Duggies. You can see that there's a lot of them. The best places to farm them is when they're just with Cuddle Wuddle, which is a 3 cost echo that drops Carlotta's set and also the Midnight Veil Havoc set. So yeah, if you need to farm more 1 cost echoes, Diggy Duggy would be an okay choice too if you're farming for Carlotta's echoes as well. Alright, thank you so much for watching today. If you found the video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe. I also have a video where I'm building Phoebe's echoes, and it kind of shows you how to like tune your echoes and level them. So if you want to check that out, it's on the left right here along with some beginner guides. Take care now.